we celebrate the lives of those we have lost and the families left behind. NBC's Chris Jansing, who bravely shared the loss of her own Aunt Margie to COVID, starts us off.
Have a very, very bright Friday.
Bonnie McLeod would laugh if you called her a model, but here she is at Christmas, modeling her handmade lighted mask. Early in the pandemic, Bonnie started sewing masks to give away, making 3,000 in all. A simple mission to protect others. But in the end, Bonnie could not protect herself.
I don't know that I've ever met anybody that didn't love Bonnie. I mean, she's just that kind of person. She wasn't done doing her mission, I guess, but somebody else felt it was time for her. The thing that was bittersweet is I got my vaccination on Sunday, and Bonnie should have been there with me. That was the hardest part, I think, because she was this close, 5 weeks away from getting vaccinated.
It's the devastating reality of COVID-19. The funerals never held, the goodbyes never said, the human touch never felt as victims passed from this world, including Susan Braley, mother to 7 adopted children, 300 foster kids. Her Florida home filled with love and laughter and life, but in death, without any of that family by her side. Kaylin Dillard never got to hold her newborn baby Morgan, dying of COVID soon after giving birth. By late March, 1,000 Americans would be gone. By May, 100,000, many of them healthcare workers, especially nurses and people of color. Frida Okren, a psychiatric nurse and mother of 3, was only 51. Dr. Neera Bhutani worked in a Texas pediatric clinic. She was just a month away from getting vaccinated. Dr. Adeline Fagan, just starting out at 28.
She was just a really happy-go-lucky person.
ER doctor Frank Gabrin died after texting about worries over a lack of PPE. Victims on the front lines of an escalating war. 250,000 Americans gone by November, including veterans who had survived foreign wars, only to lose to this unseen enemy. Like Tuskegee Airman Theodore Ted Lumpkin, who stayed active until coronavirus hit, then died just shy of his 101st birthday. Rabbi Romy Cohn was a Holocaust survivor who saved 56 families' lives, but coronavirus took him at 91. To endure such grief, perhaps we rationalize, but they were old, but they had pre-existing conditions. In truth, but for COVID, they'd likely still be with us. To teach, to rescue dogs, simply to love. Dick and Shirley Meek of Ohio had just celebrated their 70th wedding anniversary when they died minutes apart. Margaret and Jimmy Shaw grew up together in Georgia, eloped at 17, and stayed together for 6 decades. Music lovers Johnny Lee and Kathy Darlene Peoples of North Carolina, together since they were teenagers, died on the same day in the same ICU room, holding hands. And so much promise cut short.
I know he's watching over us now. I know he's probably dancing in heaven.
Towering baritone Antoine Hodge, achieving a career milestone on the Metropolitan Opera stage in September. In February, his extraordinary voice was silenced.
He was my best friend, and it's still hard for me to accept the reality that he won't be back.
What would you want people to know about Antoine?
That he was a pure, kind soul.
Antoine was just 38. We've learned the hard way that COVID doesn't spare the young or even the very young. Kimmy Lynham had been a healthy, happy 9-year-old. 5-year-old Skylar Herbert was the only child of 2 first responders.
We miss everything, just everything about her.
9-year-old JJ Boatman was running around playing one morning. By the next day, he was gone. Dory Ellis Reyes Paula was about to start 4th grade. And 13-year-old Peyton Baumgarth from Missouri, his mom's little buddy.
He was kind, he was funny, he was a jokester.
How do you even begin to process this kind of loss? Another 13-year-old named Madeline Fugate started a memorial quilt. One square made with a piece of Anna Carter's dress, who was 13 too when she was taken by COVID. In California, Carla Funderburk began folding origami cranes as a kind of therapy. Thousands of them now suspended on copper wires.
The origami crane is the symbol of carrying the soul into the heavens. These are representing the people we've lost, and they're flying together. So they are not alone, and we are not alone.
And in a community garden in Phoenix, out of all this death comes life in the form of newly planted trees, providing a place to mourn, to contemplate, and yes, celebrate lives well lived, like these.
We hope all your dreams come true and you live happily ever after.
Bonnie McLeod leaves 5 adoring grandchildren. To honor her memory, 16-year-old Allie is still making masks, just like her Nana taught her.
What do you miss about her most?
Our hugs and just time together. Whenever we would hang out, it'd just be our time. I look back now and I think of everything we got to do in the last months, and because of the mask, we were together when I would have been so busy doing other things. Instead, we got to be here with each other.
A shared legacy woven of cloth and thread and love.
Those masks are such a beautiful way for Allie to remember her grandmother. And these cranes, Carly started making them, but then she got thousands of them from a teacher in North Dakota, senior citizens in Ohio, Buddhist monks in Tibet. It's such a powerful visual reminder of the enormity of what we've lost, but also of people's desire to come together to deal with that staggering loss. If there was one crane for every American who died of COVID, it would fill this space 42 times. And we don't have a handbook for how to deal with the enormity of that. So whether it's making a crane or making a mask or planting a tree or just telling a story, it's important, Nicole. It's a way for people to move forward. It's a way for them to have hope and to feel that they're not alone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank all of you out there.
Thank you as always.
Thanks to at home.
Thanks for watching.
Thank you so much for letting us into your homes during these extraordinary times.